Hey everybody, this is Snook. I just wanted to let everybody know what's been going on in my life, which has been a lot. My mother, who is 82, fell on Sunday and broke her hip and her wrist and hit her head. And she has died already once, about 5 years ago, and they had to do surgery on her head, and she has a stent that drains the fluid from her brain to her stomach, and she actually shouldn't be able to walk and talk and do anything that she does, which tells you she's a very stubborn woman. Determined, I guess, is another way of putting it. Both. She's both. So, weird things have been happening. When she was here visiting me, or a little bit before that, we had ordered me a ticket to go down December 2nd to spend time with her, and my son and his wife were still going to be there. And then my daughter-in-law's father got very ill, so they went back to Colombia. So I've been upset about that because I was planning on spending 2 weeks with my son and daughter-in-law and my mom in a warm environment and just, connecting and having some fun. And that didn't happen because, through no fault of anybody's, the kids are in their 30s and the parents we're getting older. That's what happens. It sucks. And I don't mean to be negative, but it's not all it's cracked up to be. So, for me, anyway. So I had this plane ticket. I knew my son then now was not going to be down there with my daughter-in-law. And so it was just going to be me and my mom. Then my mom fell on Sunday, just this past Sunday, and broke her hip and her wrist and hit her head. And they pinned it. They didn't replace her hip. They pinned it, and then they had to mesh her hand. So basically, she's got one hand and can't move. And she's a type of person who cannot sit still. So it's going to be very interesting going down there. So on top of it, I already had this plane ticket for this coming Sunday, the 2nd of December, to go visit. So there wasn't that panic that I got to get down there because she's in the hospital anyways, and she has a lot of friends that are there helping. The biggest concern was I wouldn't have been able to be there for the surgery anyway. And when you break something, you don't want to prolong the surgery because then they just have to re-break it, and because it starts healing right away. So I wasn't going to be able to be there for that anyway. So my biggest concern was that she made it through the surgery, and she did. But I will probably be down there about 6 weeks, which would put me into January and not at my home with my husband. So it's been a little stressful that way, thinking about everything, worrying about her because I am not there. But then another weird thing happened. I have an aunt and uncle that have been over the years looking for. The neighborhood my mother lives in is really nice. It's has smaller homes. It's a community, but it has the smaller homes, not the McMansions in it. And the people there are really, really nice. They are very friendly, and because my aunt and uncle had gone down to visit, They know the neighborhood and know some of the people already. So why would you not? You'd already have, friends there. And they're retired, and they're looking to go down where my mom lives for the winter, so they don't have to deal with the snow and cold. So I let them know that my mom was in the hospital, and find out they were they had just pulled into town, into my mom's town, and were at a hotel because they were down there looking for houses, and they were going to surprise my mother. They'd been trying to get a hold of her, and they couldn't, well, because she was in the hospital. So a lot of that made me feel better, because they're going to stay down there until I get there on Sunday. So she does have family that is there, which makes me feel a lot better. But so my brain, which has like literally shut down. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I made, basically she talked me into making a written post, and it was good because my brain has, just with everything and all the stress, I haven't been posting. I haven't been doing a whole lot of anything other than being very stressed and trying to do things in the world that basically makes me not think until I can get down there and see what's going on. Plus, on top of it, this was supposed to be a happy time of year, and I was supposed to spend 2 weeks with my son, and I'm not going to be able to. So, been a little bit upset about that. Life happens. It is what it is. You can't blame anybody. Life just happens. But the weird circumstances that all this happened when it did, and then to have my aunt and uncle show up down there, just makes you realize that there's a lot in the world that is going on that you don't know about, because that's way too many coincidences to all roll into one, to not think that there's not bigger things going on in the world that are there to help you survive if you just know to look for them and see the signs and appreciate the signs that are there. Is it easy to appreciate it? Not always, no. This is the first time I've actually showered and put makeup on. So, because I knew I needed to get, people were starting to wonder where I was and that. And I was by no way, shape, or form gonna get on. I mean, the other night was one thing, but yeah, no. Yeah, this has affected me a lot. So I have put some people on auto vote, because I don't know if I'm gonna, how much, until I get down there, until I settle in and we get into somewhat of a routine. I don't know how much time I will be able to spend on Steam It. I am not going anywhere on Steam It, no matter what anybody says about it's long term. It's plain and simple, it's long term. So just like any market, it's long term. So I made what I have by my hard work. It's an investment. I invested my time. It's an investment in there. It's 2 years old or 3 years old. Just wait. From the people that I know They're not panicked. They're not going anywhere. So I just keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop posting. Don't be negative. Just be yourself and think of it as you're blogging anyway. Or you're making movies anyway. And you're getting paid for it. Even if it's 3 cents. I was making 3 cents in a post. So you can only go up from there. So don't give up. The worst thing you can do is give up. So not the happiest video I have ever done, but at least it's done. I at least got in the shower. So thank you, DTube, for making me take a shower today. That's the truth.